This unique strategy for creating killer presentations can dramatically boost your sales. Now, I've been using it in my business and teaching it to my clients for over 15 years. And let me tell you, the results are truly remarkable. Hey everyone, it's Tom Jacobs here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're peeling back the curtain on the art of the sales pitch or sales presentation and using this strategy, this overall strategy, to dramatically increase your conversions, which means taking prospects and creating new clients and helping more people, because as heart-centered salespeople, that is exactly what we want to do. So forget about the mundane sales presentations. We're talking about a thrilling ride through the essentials for engaging, persuading, and succeeding in the sales arena. If you're about helping more people and creating an impact and increasing your sales, keep watching, because we're about to transform your sales presentation from that boring sales pitch into a dazzling, dare I say, performance. The very first thing that you must do before you create that presentation, and definitely before you even talk to anybody, is extremely important. Because if you don't do this the right way, then you won't convince anybody to actually buy your program. And really, my process isn't about convincing people. It's about helping them find the problem and ultimately wanting to invest in the solution. And that, my friends, is one of the first things that you have to deal with, is looking at your program as a whole and what the benefits are for the prospect. Now, a lot of salespeople like to focus on features. So start with your features, but think about every benefit that goes along with a particular feature. And that's how you're going to get the prospect to actually realize that they need your program, because they're seeing the benefit of it, not just mundane features. So you've got all those benefits laid out in your sales presentation, ready to dazzle your prospect with how they can actually achieve the benefits and get them excited about the benefits of actually using your product or service. Now, the second thing that you need to actually accomplish is understanding who your prospect is. And you can do this two different ways. The first is at a macro level. Who are your typical prospects and clients, and what are their typical needs? So having that understanding before you even do your marketing, before you even have sales presentations, and even before you have sales consultations, is critical that you understand the words, the language, the needs of your ideal prospect, because probably it is very different from your own needs and your desires. So it's critical to understand at a macro level who your prospect is. The second thing, and this is probably the most important, is understanding that particular prospect that's sitting in front of you, understanding what their problems are and what their end goal is. And that's what you do during that what, why, the questioning phase of the sales presentation before you get into the actual presentation of your services. Because once you understand those, now you can customize your presentation to really address what that prospect wants and needs. Now, this next technique in your presentation may actually shock you a little bit and not seem intuitive for a sales presentation, but trust me on this, you are definitely want to include this as part of the presentation. And that is telling good stories about how clients have achieved the outcomes that your prospect is wanting as well. And so that means that you need to understand and have social proof of other people who have gone through your program, and they need to be just like that prospect that's sitting in front of you. You don't want to have a testimonial from a 45-year-old man when you're talking to a 24-year-old woman. That just doesn't make sense. You want the story to relate to the person that's sitting in front of you. And so that story has to match the same demographic as that person. And when you do that, and you have these really compelling stories, your prospect is going, oh, if they can do it, I can too. And you're going to make a sale. This other tactic that is going to make killer presentations that will convert at a very high level is something that can be done if you're talking one-on-one with somebody, if you're doing a webinar to many people, or even if you're doing a stage presentation and you're selling to a whole group in front of you. It doesn't matter. You can do this all across the board in every place that you are selling. And that is using really good visuals to help that prospect visualize the end result that they want. And so now you really need to get into their head of your ideal prospect. And when you're niched down and you work with specific types of people, now you can actually create visuals that those folks are going to really relate to. And when you have good visuals that help them realize of the benefit and they start to dream and they go, oh, yeah, I want that. And that's exactly what I want. Now they're going to start to see themselves achieving that benefit with your help. And that's going to help you push them over the edge and get them to actually buy your program. This may not seem very important as part of your presentation, but trust me, it is the difference between night and day in terms of making sales or not making sales. And that is how you deliver the words that you're speaking. I've heard sales pitches that are really boring, and you can just tell that the salesperson is just kind of dialing it in, and they're just kind of like, yeah, this is the benefit, this is a feature, this is what's going to help you with, and all that. And you cannot do that. You have to use your full vocal range. You have to use really good delivery techniques on delivering that message so it really resonates with the person. And that means using your full vocal variety, speed, tone, pauses, to really create impact of that presentation. And if you're not practicing this on a regular basis, you're definitely going to be missing out. I say this all the time. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. That definitely matters in making more sales. Now, what salesperson has ever said, I love handling objections? Not one ever. But I got to tell you, if you are doing the presentation this right way, you will not have objections. Or if you do, they're just kind of minor questions or clarifying questions that you can easily overcome and get that prospect to actually purchase. The best way of handling objections is to address them before they even come up. You know what the normal objections are. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. I got to think about it. I got to ask my spouse. I don't have the time to do it. Those are kind of the variation of the different objections that you're going to get on a regular basis. So in your presentation, you need to embed those objections and blow them out of the water before they even come up. And some people might be thinking, well, why would you plant the seed of an objection in that prospect's mind? But you're not planting the seed. You're actually disabling that objection before it even comes up. A lot of people have told me that they want to talk to their spouse, but in my experience, the spouse is already supportive of making a change. Do you feel like your spouse is supportive like that? And you do that in the presentation itself. Now, they can't say, I got to talk to my spouse about this because they just said they don't need to. You have to know what the common objections are, and you have to embed them into the presentation so that they don't even come up at the end. Now, this may surprise you that I even include this as part of creating a presentation, but it is absolutely critical as part of this whole series of making presentations that convert at a very high level. And that is making sure that you are prepared and you are practicing that presentation, whether that's with a friend, family member, or just inside your head, running through your presentation, the different variations that you might need to pull up based on the different objections that you might have, or the different type of prospects that you might have. You want to go through that in your head multiple times, like 10, 20, 30 times, so that it is ingrained in your head so that you aren't tripping over words while you're giving that presentation. Because the more you're doing ums and ahs and just kind of like, well, I'm not quite sure, you seem unsure, and that lack of confidence will transfer onto the prospect. And then they're going to be like, oh, I'm not quite sure this is really the right thing. They don't seem confident. I don't seem confident. But when you are confident in your approach and your presentation, which only comes from practice, you are assured to transfer that confidence onto the prospect and make more sales. And there you have it. 7 ways to increase your sales by having a presentation that is sure to convert. And I got to tell you, I saw it in my own sales and I've seen it in my clients' sales. When they implement and when I implemented all 7 of these tips, my sales took off. My clients' sales have taken off. And that's why I'm confident in saying that when people work with me, they double their sales in as little as 3 months because we implement these small things to create a dramatic impact in the overall sales. Make sure that you are implementing this into your sales presentation. Now, I've put together a special sales training and I want you to go through it. I'll put the link down below in the comments. It goes through my secret weapon, which is the what, why process, the 4 questions that you need to ask to convert a prospect into a paying client. I would love for you to go through it and let me know how it works out for you. Just click that link down below and I will see you on the other side.